Today I will be talking about how France influenced Luxembourg. I hope you enjoy. What is Luxembourg? Well, Luxembourg is a small country that is right next to France. It isn't really a surprise that France influences the small country in many different ways. So, in the next couple of minutes, I'll be explaining the influences of France on Luxembourg. How does France influence Luxembourg? Luxembourg was conquered in 1443 by Philip the Good, and this brought Luxembourg closer to French culture. This historic event brought French food, architecture, and the French language into Luxembourg. This also reduced territory of Luxembourg, and Luxembourg was turned into a state when it was conquered. The name Luxembourg. One of the most interesting influences is how Luxembourg got its name. Its original name was Lutzburg, and it came from two German words, Lutilla and Berg. Lutilla means small and Berg means castle. Under French influence, Lutzburg became Luxembourg. Language. Another significant French influence on Luxembourg is language. Originally in Luxembourg, people spoke in Luxembourgish, which was a dialect of German at the time. After Philip the Good conquered Luxembourg, more French people moved in Luxembourg, and more French words and phrases were added to Luxembourgish. Eventually there was so much French words and phrases that Germans couldn't understand it. After 5 years, Luxembourgish was a language that had words that were half German and half French. Today, French is a principal language for government legislation and speeches. Street names, shop signs, and menus are written in French and is preferred by the elite. Food. The next French influence is reflected in the cuisine of Luxembourg. There are a lot of traditional French dishes in Luxembourg. For example, pâté. Pâté is a typical French spread made of any kind of meat. It is usually eaten on toast for breakfast. It was created by a French chef called Jean-Joseph Claus from Normandy. Another example of French dishes in Luxembourg is soupe à oignon, or onion soup in English. This soup was created in Paris in the 18th century. Another traditional French food in Luxembourg is flemme la quiche. This dish is an oval-shaped pizza with blue cheese, onions, and crusty bacon on top. It isn't the healthiest dish in France and Luxembourg, but it's still counted as a gourmet. Architecture. The final influence discussed in this video is French style in Luxembourgish architecture. Marble and metal structures are typical in French features, which were used in the south, west, and east of Luxembourg. French designs and plans for houses were introduced when Philip the Good conquered Luxembourg. Luxembourg has more than 100 French castles and forts. These forts and castles were used in Napoleon Wars later. The name, language, food, and architecture are the influences that French has on Luxembourg. I hope you learned something in this short video about